Hi everybody, just thought I'd pop in today with a quick, well I probably won't be quite so quick today. I'm going to do a video on the sepia watercolouring. It's Gail from Blue Rose Paper Treasures, which I probably should have said at the beginning. I'm not sure where I'm going to start today. Just give me one sec. Alright, I just had to set up my computer. Alright, so today we're going to, I watched a YouTube video from Sandy MacGyver, always looking for new techniques, and I saw this, and me and my crumb cake, of course I like these sort of colours. So I did, I made a couple of different ones. I'm not sure if I really captured it. Probably not so great with the sail away one. I like the perfume bottles. I probably did a bit too much of the white embossing, but I quite like the magnolia one I did, so I'm going to redo that one because it's going to be a little bit easier to see where I did the bleaching in it. These aren't as great as Sandy's, but obviously the more you do it, the better, hopefully the better I'll get at it. But I really did like this technique. So I'm going to have a seat and we're going to begin. Right, what we need Stays On. We need Memento. Sandy used Stays On twice. I'm going to use Stays On the Memento because I can't stand the smell of Stays On. Versamark for doing the white embossing, which I've got here. Water spritzer. 2 brushes. This one's going to be for the water wash technique. This is quite a bigger one, and this one is going to be doing some colouring with it. I've got soft suede and a re-inker. I've got watercolour paper, and I've got a tiny little container with a tiny little bit of bleach in the bottom of it, and a very, very, very fine tiny little brush, because you don't want too big a brush. And my cat, my new boy Bailey, who was 3 the other day, he has an obsession with bleach. I don't know if anyone else has a cat that has an obsession with bleach. This was sitting on my desk and I came in and found him licking it. It's sealed and he was able to smell that there was bleach in there. So weird, I know. Then you'll need a whole bunch of stamps, and I don't know where I've put, oh my goodness, I don't know where I've put the magnolia stamp. Oh, I thought I brought it in here. Oh dear. Alright, excuse me for a sec, I think it's still drying. Back, hang on. Sorry, my apologies for that. I usually have everything, and because I didn't have this with where all the other stamps were. Alright, so magnolia. So I need a big block. One of my giant ones. It's probably too big, but that'll do. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is the water wash technique. It's very, very easy to do. I spritz first. Probably should get the ink pad ready. Alright, so add a little bit. I always add a bit of re-inker because I'm lazy. I don't want to try and squish it out of the top. A little bit of re-inker. That's the soft suede. Just a little bit of water, spritz it. Grab the really big brush because we're going to be doing a wash with it. Squeeze a little bit of water into the re-inker to thin it out a little bit. And a watercolour wash is exactly what it is. It's a wash. So you're just going to go across, a bit more water, and that's all you're going to do. It doesn't have to be neat, it can be darker in some other places. A little bit more water. Make sure, this was my very last piece of watercolour paper, so I haven't actually cut it to size. but you would already cut it to the size that you're going to mount it on your card front, which I think I did 5 1/4 by 3 3/4 or something like that. And that's all you're going to do. So that's the first step. Right, so you're just going to give it a watercolour wash. You can make some places darker if you want to, but I'm going to leave, whoops, I can put my finger on it. I'm going to leave mine like that. That was the first one I did. Paper towel. Alright, so we'll get rid of that because I'm finished with that now. And here's one that I had prepared earlier. Alright, so the first thing I did was, following Sandy's tutorial, was the actual stamping of the magnolia. So I'm going to grab the Stinky Stays On, that's what I call it. You can see I'm not very organised today, but I figured while I had all this stuff out, I might as well use it before I packed it up, because if you know me, you know that after every single project I pack everything up so my desk is clean, as spotless clean again. Alright, so Stays On. I just sort of stamp the magnolia on an angle, and voila, that's done. So that was the first step that we that I did. Cover up the Stinky Stays On again. My videos are so professional, aren't they? Alright, back with the soft suede re-inker inside the lid. And this is where I'm using the smaller brush. So I'm just going to pick up some colour and just going to paint over. This is why we're using Stays On, because we're then going to watercolour over the top of it. Squeeze a bit. I hope you, oops, I just dropped a big blob of water on there. It's alright, we'll use that. Now you don't have to colour it all. And particularly with watercolour paper, you don't want to do too much, because then you'll start getting pilling. Pick up some of the darker. Oops, I'll spread that around, it's a bit too dark. Oops. I'm just colouring randomly. Some darker spots. And then what I actually did before, if I don't think I've got one, there might be some water in that. There's a bit of water there. I just have a bit of water on a mat, so I can just add a little bit so I can spread it around a bit. Now I've added too much there because it's gone right through. I'll cover that up. Alright, so I probably won't do the whole of this card because it will probably take too long. I might just keep going. I'm just adding darker bits to the base and then picking up a bit of water and just spreading it around. With the leaf. And I'm probably adding way too much water to this. Alright, so it's a nice fine brush. It's helping me to stay inside the lines. I think I might try and find a different brand of watercolour paper too. I don't really like this one. Seems to, I'm just adding too much water to it. And just spread it around a little bit. I won't worry about the leaves. Not the best work because I'm obviously trying to go quickly. Alright, get the idea. Obviously if you've got more time you do it a lot more, with a lot more care than what I'm doing it with. I'm just adding a little bit colour there so that it looks darker than the background. Alright, I'll leave that as it is for now. I'm actually just going to dry it a little bit. Oops. Alright, what I did before earlier was I grabbed that huge I've got a whole bunch of these really huge acrylic blocks. I just put a scrap of white copy paper on the top and then I just flattened it till I let it dry completely. That might flatten it a bit. Alright, so there's the first step in the sepia colouring. The next step was, you can do some stamp. It doesn't, I suppose it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to do the bleaching part next. So here I've got this tiny little container and this teeny weeny little brush. You don't need a lot of bleach. And then all I did, I don't know if you can see from there, it doesn't, I'm hardly touching that colour paper, the watercolour paper. And you can see the first, you can see how quickly it's taking the colour off it. And that was, I hardly had any bleach on that tiny brush. I practiced on a bit of scrap first. Obviously I didn't practice hard enough. If you want to get some off, Sandy did it so much nicer. But I do remember her saying that a little goes a long way. You're just taking some of that colour off, wherever you want to take some of it off. I kind of went around a couple of edges. I'm not really an artist. I think an artist would do a really good job of this. But I didn't want it to be quite a severe line like that. So what I did before, I kind of just did squigglies so that it wasn't like a straight line. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Add a little bit more there. Yeah, just instead of going a straight line, I just did a couple of little squiggles. Sort of like shadowing it. Oh gosh, this does not look anything like the card I just made. But I'm just giving you the idea on how I did it. And see how quickly that's now taking that colour out with the bleach. It's just domestic bleach that I had in my bathroom. I didn't have to buy anything. Alright, you get the general idea. Mind you, this is not a very good copy. But you can see the effect that the bleach has. It's picking up all that soft suede where I coloured with it. That will change as it goes a little bit lighter as well, as it dries, sorry. Alright, but you really don't need a lot of bleach. Alright, I think I'll leave that for now. Alright, that gives you an idea. Oh, now I smell of bleach and stays on. Yeah. Alright, I might just dry that a little bit again. Yeah, now I've used quite thick watercolour paper, so it's not really coming through to the other side. Okay, the next step was you can then choose, you've got some white heat embossing randomly. I've used the script in a couple of spots, I think on the other cut I did. Then you're going to stamp a few more images with Memento, which was stamped off first on scrap, and then that was actually wasn't. It was a little bit dark. And then we're going to use a little bit more soft suede to double stamp. What's the word? Oh, I can't think of what the word is, but stamp off and then stamp on that so it's a nice lighter colour. Alright, I'm making no sense today. Alright, buddy it off. Alright, Versamark, make sure I don't get my ink pads all mixed up. Make sure my stamp's up the right way. One, I might even just do a little bit down there. Alright, remembering where you've put the Versamark so you don't put your fingers on it. Where was the other one? Down there, wasn't it? I might not do as much of the white on this one. Heat set that. Oops. Rule of thumb, always cover over the lid. Come on. Oop, cover it nice and right. I tell my girls to do that and then I don't do it myself. Come on. Alright, so basically what you're going to do is you're going to try and fill as much of the spaces with other stamping. Oh, I'm sorry, this is taking too long. Alright, a little bit warped, and that's when I put the block on it. Alright, so then you just select a few other stamps. I might do the opposite this time. I might use some of the, what do we call that? I don't know what that stamp is. It's flourish, type of flourish. Alright, it's quite dark, so I'm going to use second generation. That's the word I was looking for. And then you're just going to rotate it and do different directions. What else have I got? I might do some of this branch with Memento, stamping off. Maybe not there. And I forgot the greeting again. Oh, it's alright, we can put that on last. Might put a bit there. You see how it's all coming together now by just using other stamps. I'm going to use this one with the brown. Alright, just remembering to stamp off. Okay, and it's all come together. Alright, there's a little bit of room up there, but we've still got to do your greeting. You can. What Sandy did was she actually stamped straight on that. I tried that and it didn't work, so that's why I've gone and put greetings over the top, which just doesn't matter. I think it looks alright anyway, putting the greetings over the top. And I had a spare sheet of watercolour paper that I used. I had another piece that I'd coloured, so I had a spare, so I just cut some greetings out of that. And I did the thanks on that one as well. Alright, I won't do any more for that because I think that's got enough on it. Next thing I did, it was grabbing my finger dauber again, and I just went around the edges. Just making it so that it's got a nice dark border that's covering up that white watercolour paper. And then what you can do is you can blend a few of the areas if they're not quite dark enough, so that you can make that embossing pop a little bit more. You can add some blending to some of these areas. These are my fantastic makeup brushes that I rave on about, but you've got to get some. They're fantastic. Alright, and I think that was about all we did. So it's all just about filling up any little gaps with any stamps that you want. Compare that one to the first one, where I used the white embossing. I think it was too much. I think just the script is enough with the white. But you can see how I did that one so much neater than I did that one. So it took more time when I did the blending, the bleach part of that one. I'm excited. I've put a little bit too much on that, so don't go too heavy like I did with this one. And then all I did was die cut on, like I said, on a scrap of paper that you've already done your watercolour wash on, and then I used the dauber around the edges just to make that sort of blends in with the background. And then I've just mounted it on soft suede cardstock and Whisper White. So that's all there is to it. I hope this was helpful. Sorry, I hope it worked out anyway. Alright, well that's it for me. I don't have anything else to show you, I don't think. What else have I done lately? Oh, let's have a look. I think I showed you these ones from the other day. These were the, I can't remember what the technique was called. Blocking, water blocking, colour blocking I think it was. This was a Jennifer Maguire one, and I love these because I just love bright colours. And they're so easy to make. You're just going to white emboss all your images on a full sheet of what you're going to use. Then you just pick your colours and you use your wonderful makeup blending brushes, which are fantastic to blend with, and then you chop up the shapes that you want. So that was really easy, and I love the vibrancy of those, and you can use whatever you like. I don't quite like that bit there, but of course I'd already done it. That colour was already there. Those ones. These are the pretty poppy ones. I do have a tutorial on my blog for these. I honestly didn't like the poppies in the catalogue. I think it was because the whole cover was all red, and then when you opened up to the poppy pages it was all red, and it was red, and it was just too much red, and I didn't like them. And I kept going through the catalogue trying to find something new to buy, and I kept going, no, still don't want anything, I don't like anything else, I've got what I want. But then I saw the dies for the poppies, not for the big poppy die cut, but just the dies that come with these stamps, and I thought, oh, I like those because I love this little border. And I went so far away from red, and I used Petal Pink on these. And I really love these with a couple of little tags, and I've only partially used some of the dies. That was the swirly circle that's in the set. And I've also trimmed all the leaves. So if you can see, I've trimmed all the leaves so that they sort of pop up and they're 3D-ish. So it's not just a flat flower on the page, on the card front. And that one's upside down. Sorry, I didn't see that. So you can see how I've just trimmed all those so that they stick up a little bit. And none of my things, nothing I ever do is completely stuck down. Everything of mine is just only stuck down with a glue dot at the base. And I love that. I love that gorgeous little border there. I've done a couple of leaves. And this one with the two rectangles in the set. And once again, the flower's squished, but it's because something's been on top of it. And just lots of little pearls in the middle. And I just think they're so feminine. These are the branches out of the seasonal layers. I added them for a little bit of greenery, for something a bit different. And there's that swirly scribble one in the bottom again in the poppies pack. I can't think of what else I've done. Oh, hang on. Alright, I'll put everything in plastic bags when I'm done. Alright. I'm not sure these ones. I know, I don't think I've showed you these ones. I did struggle with this stamp set. Not so much the stamps, the dies. These end pieces, I really struggled with them. For this one, it actually had a bit coming out here. Where is it? Birthday Jubilee. Let's have a look. I might have a bit in here. Yeah, so that is that one. And I just trimmed off that lattice on either side because I don't know, it just didn't sit with me. And I really don't think those fonts go with that nice flower, so I used different sentiments for that. This is an easel fold card. That one there, so I've added lots of flowers on the bottom. And mounted, just put some, I wanted to use that was a magnolia ribbon. I hadn't used that before, and I had a couple of rolls of it, so that blended in really nicely. Of course, subtle embossing folder on the background, some die cuts, and that's just the whole piece on that one. This one I think I like the most. That's just white on white, so two end pieces on white, and just the layer down the bottom and the ribbon. I think that one out of the three was my favourite one. And there's no tutorial for that one because I think they're fairly easy to copy. I don't think I did a tutorial. I can't remember. I don't think I did. No, I didn't, because there's not one in the plastic bag. Alright, I'm going to go clean up my mess now. I've got nothing else to show you. I'm going to go off and try and find a new technique for something to do tomorrow. I was really happy with these. Hope you can get the bleach part to work, because I think that really adds to it. I quite like the bleaching that I did on the perfume bottles. Not really fussed on the lighthouse. I did actually stamp that crooked too, and I hate it when I stamp something crooked, and I've stamped that crooked as well. So, but that's me rushing because I was so excited that I was learning a new technique. Alright, go away, have a go at that, let me know how you go. I'm going to clean up all these stamps because I've got stays on the magnolia, and I want to go and clean that off. I hope this was helpful. Just want to let everyone know that's been in contact with me. I think as of last Friday, the Rural Fire Service put out a notice saying that finally, after something like 221 days, we are fire free. And something like 5 million hectares of bushland and national forest and everything is now gone. Millions and squillions of native animals. And now we're in floods. All up and down the coast, we're now having floods. It's great that we've got the rain, but after such a 12 months of drought, the ground was so dry that there was no way all that amount of water was going to absorb into it, so it's just flooded out towns and everything at the moment. But it's just so pleased to let you know that we are, after all this time, we are fire free, and it's an amazing feeling. And we lost something like 21 lives. 4 rural volunteer firefighters lost their lives when trees fell on their trucks or they overturned. It was just so sad watching those things on the news. And of course the the 3 Americans that were doing the water bombing in that big plane, they came down, which was really, really sad as well. And it's just horrible watching the news every day, seeing all these sad stories. So I'm so glad all the fires are gone for now. It's raining and overcast here today. The mozzies are out in force. If you don't know what a mozzie is, it's a mosquito, and there's billions of them, and they eat you alive. So I don't try to go outside very much at the moment. Alright, I'm going to sign off now because my phone gets really, really hot. I'll be back another day with something else. Leave me a message if you want to. Bye.